Why did Judas really betray Jesus? Have you ever thought about that? He was with Jesus for 3 years, seeing signs, wonders, and miracles, but yet he turned his back on Christ and betrayed him. See, what we need to understand is that Judas was a zealot. And you even got Simon Zealots as well. Simon Zealots was also a disciple of Christ. And the Zealots, okay, he's very powerful, but the Zealots was a political party that resisted the Romans. The Zealot party, they hated the Romans. They were like a nationalist party. They were also called the people of the knife. So if anybody was betraying Israel for the Romans, they would murder them. Do you know that? It's called the Zealot party. So you kind of see how crazy it would have been with Matthew, the publican, the tax collector, also being a disciple, with Simon Zealots and Judas, who are actually nationalists, who are against tax collectors, because they see tax collectors as being on the side of the Romans and seeing tax collectors as betraying Israel. So it's quite the dynamics in Jesus's disciples is quite amazing. But when we start to look at Judas, we need to understand that, like I said, in those days they had political parties like the Sadducees and Pharisees and the Herodians. These are all political parties. Did you know that? So they're all jostling for power. So when we see Judas betraying Christ, what Judas was actually doing, he was trying to force Christ's hand to move and actually take the throne of David by force and kick the Romans out by force. Why? Because Judas was thinking in a nationalist way, where it was Israel is for Israelis, not for Romans. So when Judas became a disciple, he was actually in his mind, he was believing that Jesus is the one who's going to kick the Romans out of Israel, because he's a nationalist, going with a nationalist mind. Judas was never a disciple in his heart from the beginning, because Jesus Christ said that I've chosen you 12 and one of you's a devil. And Jesus Christ said that 3 years after he chose Judas to be a disciple. So when we start to look, I know that it says in prophecy that Jesus Christ will be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. But so obviously Judas betraying Christ was a fulfillment of prophecy. But I'm trying to get you into the mindset, the thinking of Judas, because we think that Judas just betrayed Christ for no reason. No, it's not. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes. So when you get into Jewish or ancient history of the day, when you read the Bible with an ancient understanding, you'll see the Gospels from a different perspective altogether. So the reason why, or one of the reasons why Judas betrayed Christ, is because he was part of a nationalist party that hated the Romans.